Thursday, February the 2nd, 2017, and this is your Barbados Today Evening Update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, the finances of Barbadians will now be made available to other countries across the globe. That's because the Frontier Stewart administration has signed on to the Common Reporting Standards for the automatic exchange of information with a compliant start date of this year. Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados-based Caribbean Credit Bureau, Greg Clark, says local financial institutions will now have to automatically share the credit information with the competent authorities around the world on request.
Despite our economy not necessarily being one of the most robust in the region, our delinquency, right, I think our credit is fairly well managed there, right? Barbadians tend to be very responsible when it comes to credit. I also believe that our credit bureau service has made a big impact, so that if you don't pay Peter, it's hard to get credit from Paul. And if you pay your bills on a timely basis, you get a good credit rating, and therefore it becomes easier for you to obtain credit from other credit providers.
Clark was speaking this morning on the sidelines of a seminar hosted by the Bureau entitled Effective Credit Management and Debt Recovery at the Savannah Hotel.
And in the morning session, we talked about the principles behind extending credit, some of the ways in which you could reduce the risk, and how to extend proper credit by doing sound analysis, and what the important considerations are, right, to extend credit wisely, right, because there's responsible lending that we promote, which include the respect for consumer rights, full disclosure, proper analysis, giving the right type of credit, the right amount of credit. Right? So if you do proper analysis of the credit risk and you deploy proper practices, then your probability of being paid will increase significantly.
Bad news for the local investment and financial firms hoping for an end to the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, or FATCA. The global FATCA leader, Denise Hinske, has told them if they are looking for it to end as a result of Donald Trump taking up the presidency, then forget about it. Addressing a Deloitte breakfast meeting at the Marriott Hotel this morning to bring financial institutions up to date on FATCA, Hinske dismissed rumors that the law could be repealed now that Trump is in power. Under FATCA, foreign financial institutions are required to report to the U.S. Internal Revenue Service information about financial accounts held by U.S. taxpayers or by foreign companies in which U.S. taxpayers hold a controlling interest.
When you talk to Treasury and IRS, they are pretty vocal about the fact that they think the U.S. should participate in this. And it would not get rid of FATCA. FATCA's got a different intention. It's looking for these U.S. people in that broader definition. But they really think that it's important that they also participate in this. Congress may not think so. President Trump may not think so. When I get, asked what is my guesstimate, I don't think you're going to see the U.S. participate in CRS maybe 5 to 10 years would be my guess. And it's going to depend really on, how much pressure is put on them, both politically from other countries, as well as the pain, in terms of being a non-participating jurisdiction. That is ultimately what will make, kind of push whether they comply or not. But I see it as being a fairly long time out.
In sports now, Cameroon will face Egypt in the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations final after 2 second-half strikes saw off Ghana. Both sides had gone close to breaking the deadlock before Michael Ndjui took advantage of atrocious defending from a free kick to lash in the opener in the 72nd minute. With seconds remaining, Christian Bassog sealed victory when he applied a deft finish to a counter-attack.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Read all about it, read all about it. Get your paper. Only $2.25. Let's get your paper.
You again with that stale news from yesterday. I got the Barbados today on my phone and I just get my news for free.
What do she?
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
In regional news, a motion by the Guyana opposition PPP Civic seeking annulment of the amended VAT Act has been defeated in the House. The opposition chief whip, Dale Teixeira, is claiming that the government had placed an unbearable burden on the people by imposing value-added tax on zero-rated items which had not attracted VAT in the past. She said Guyanese now had to pay VAT on essential items such as prescription drugs and water.
Exercise books, educational charts. You've gone to the point of erasers, chalk, handheld pencils, sharpeners. I mean, seriously? What are you doing to the poor people of this country? What are you doing to the children of this country?
However, Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Jai Paul Sharma, said the opposition got it all wrong.
What is important to note is the difference between what is zero-rated and what is exempted. What the ordinary people want to know is if when the government should make something that was previously zero-rated exempted, if they will have to pay VAT. The answer is no. The answer is no. Oh my gosh. Because in both cases where it's zero-rated and exempted, there is no VAT will be put on that bill. You wouldn't be seeing any VAT on that receipt, that bill. And that is what is important.
Meanwhile, in St. Lucia, the value-added tax rate has now dropped from 15% to 12.5%. The new rate, which went into effect yesterday, is in keeping with the United Workers' Party's Fight to Stay Alive election campaign pledge to bring tax relief to St. Lucia.
Prime Minister Alan Shasney says the reduction in the value-added tax rate from 15 to 12.5% is not only in keeping with an election campaign promise, but is part of the administration's overall economic recovery strategy. He argues that a competitive tax system is crucial to attract foreign investment, thus the drive for more marginal tax rates.
The government trying to resolve its financial situations by raising taxes will basically curtail any economic growth. In fact, we've seen that. So 3 of the last 4 years, we've had negative growth. It is my party's belief that in order to be able to grow this economy, we have to get investment, both investment that is homegrown and also foreign direct investment. And in order to convince people to be able to invest in this country, we have to lower the level of taxes. We have to become more competitive.
Another critical aspect is the standard of living of St. Lucians. Prime Minister Alan Shasney does not subscribe to the notion of using taxation to address economic inequality. The administration is apparently looking to supply-side tax cuts to incentivize the private sector, which they believe will spur investment, job creation, and stimulate robust economic growth.
And on the global front, the White House is expected to impose additional sanctions on Iranian entities under existing executive orders that predate President Donald Trump. The additional designations are in response to Iran's ballistic missile test Sunday.
Never, ever, ever in my life have I seen any transaction so incompetently negotiated as our deal with Iran.
One thing you need to know about Donald Trump and Iran is that Donald Trump is highly critical of this country's political and religious leadership. Now, there's several issues at hand. One of them is military confrontations that have been going on between the Iranian and U.S. navies in the Persian Gulf, where at certain stages, Iranian ships have even fired shots towards U.S. ships. Now, Donald Trump says he wants America to get tougher in these confrontations. The other big issue is, of course, Israel. Iran is highly critical of Israel, and the Trump administration says they want to get tougher on Iran on that issue as well. But by far the most important issue is the nuclear agreement that was hammered out between the U.S., Iran, and several other world powers, which gives Iran sanctions relief in return for putting curbs on Iran's nuclear ambitions. Now, for the sanctions relief, many people here are a bit disappointed by that agreement. They say that the economic benefits that they're getting right now are not as big as they would have hoped.
And that's news and the sports. But for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 99 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic evening.